Hey, what's going on, everybody? Justin here, and in this video I want to do my part to share the really cool news of Historathon 2025. For those who don't know what Historathon is, it's a reading initiative that Vin over at Revenant Reads created at the beginning of 2023. I think to kind of organize his own historical nonfiction reading, but also kind of to put a big spotlight on nonfiction history books. There's always kind of nonfiction and history in general a lot of times kind of get perceived as boring or dry or just not that interesting and this, that, and the other thing. So like I said, Historathon is definitely a time to kind of just like shine some light on really good history books and history reading and that kind of thing. So let me tell you a little bit about it. So Historathon is broken roughly into 4 3-month quarters. And every 3 months is sort of a focus on a different kind of chronological period in history. So for the first quarter, which would be January, February, and March, is essentially prehistory from the earliest historical anything that you can think of, including, some anthropology, Neanderthals, early like human evolution, all that kind of stuff, down through about 500 CE. So, that's including a lot of stuff, like I said, kind of the prehistory things. You got ancient Near Eastern, Bronze Age stuff, and you kind of go on into even the classical period with like Greece and Rome, stuff like that. And that's just in the West. There's a huge Discord. I probably should mention that before I ramble on too much. There's a huge Discord that Historathon runs, with tons of members doing recommendations on all different time periods, all different topics in history. Some people focus on different eras and different kind of biographies, and different kind of topics and things like that. So it's not all just Western European stuff. So it's kind of cool, just like I said, seeing all the different book recommendations and kind of discussions that people are talking about with what they want to read, what they have been reading, and everything like that. And then moving on, so if we move on into quarter 2, it's dealing with about the years 500 to 1500. So roughly in the West, that's like kind of the Middle Ages kind of period. Going on to quarter 3 is 1500 to the year 1820. And Vin did a good job describing how this is largely a kind of a logistical thing, dealing with like the inner workings of a booktube, with some other like reading events such as Jane Austen July and Victober and everything. So if you participate in those, you kind of can, the reason instead of 1800 it's 1820, it'll help you kind of participate in those things as well if you want to double up. And then the last quarter, dealing with October, November, and December, is from the years 1820 to whatever the current day is at that point in time. So any kind of modern history, anything like that, social histories and things over the last 200 years, definitely fit in that category quite well. And there are really no rules other than just, trying, I guess the overarching rule is to try and read one history book, one work of, nonfiction history that pertains to each of those quarters and during those quarters. But no one's really going to fault you or criticize you or anything like that if you just want to read history books. I do it all the time. I read ancient Greece and stuff pretty much all year round. So if I had my way, quarter 1 would be longer, but I kind of get overruled sometimes there. But let me just talk about some of the other co-hosts and everything. Like I mentioned before, Vin is the creator. I'm going to leave all their links down below. Definitely check them out. They got great channels, great bookish content, everything like that. So I had to write them down because there was quite a few. So we got John David at Nicholas of Autrecourt, Bill at Bill Rutenberg, Peg at the History Shelf, Debs at Raynor Read Stuff, Gareth at Book Songs and Other Magic, and Mark at Book Time with Elvis. And like I said, they all have different kind of nonfiction and history content floating around their channels, among other things and everything like that. So definitely check them out. Be on the lookout for their announcements and their recommendations and pile of possibilities for each quarter. So yeah, like I said, if you want to hear any recommendations or anything like that on certain topics or time periods in history, leave comments down below on any of our videos. I'm sure we could try to rustle up something. Definitely check out the Discord. And I do want to do some plugs too on the Discord for some other things. One thing that a lot of people have really been enjoying is sort of the side quest channel, which is kind of dealing with maybe you're on vacation and you go see like some kind of like local history attraction or something like that. A lot of people were taking like photos of either different museums or different places they've been that have like kind of historical significance and like why they thought it was cool things like that. Sometimes like watching movies and kind of doing like a history critique of like what they got right and what they got wrong, everything like that. And I think my favorite part of the Historathon Discord, and we're going to be using Historathon hashtag Historathon 2025 on here, you know, Discord, YouTube, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. But anyways, like I was saying, one of the favorite things that I have on the Historathon Discord is a lot of times people are developing and creating buddy reads with each other. Sometimes in the main chat, sometimes in the kind of like side chats and everything like that. But I did 2 really big ones that I was super well pleased with. And I feel like I've made a couple of like, you know, bookish friends that, you know, don't always have like channels and that kind of thing. But we did 2 buddy reads, and the first one here was this giant work on the Enlightenment by Richie Robertson. You know, that's Q3 is probably like my least well-read period. So I was like, you know, I'll join in and everything. Like I said, I feel like I made some good friends through that, so I think that's awesome. The second one we did was Revolutionary Spring here. There's a couple others that are already sort of slated for 2025, but you can either join in on those ones, ask to create your own. There'll probably be a bunch more popping up, everything like that. So I think that's awesome. So I think I've covered everything, but like I said, definitely check it out if you enjoy nonfiction reading. It's pretty chill and relaxed. So as long as you're reading, you know, every now and then a book on, like I said, nonfiction history writing, everyone's gonna like it. Everyone's gonna talk about what you're reading and everything like that. And like I said, I've been really enjoying it, and I'm really pleased that Vin asked me to kind of join in as a co-host late in the about halfway through the year, I think in 2024 here. So really excited to get going with Q1. The best quarter for sure. But anyways, like I said, if you want any topics, anything like that, leave some comments down below, leave some comments on their channels. I will be having my philosophy reading challenge and science reading challenge videos coming up hopefully before the new year. I keep kind of like revamping like what I want to do with some of them and everything like that, but be on the lookout for those if philosophy and science are your thing as well. And whether you're reading books of history or not, always remember, read victoriously.